Hey, and welcome to the With Rachel show. I'm excited today to introduce you to Stacy McNeill. She's going to be talking about what it's like to be a college professor while all the colleges are shut down and we've moved to online learning. I'm so excited for this interview, so let's get to it. So, what is the campus like with all the students gone?
Oh, so it's strange.
Really? I
Um,
bet.
very quiet, very quiet. And so I can be in my office and I can get a long string of tasks done without interruption, right? Because no one's here. But that's not ideal.
Yeah.
One might think, oh wow, all this uninterrupted time to work, but I'd much rather have students here because they are the reason I do what I do. So,
Yeah.
if the audience I serve isn't here, then it's awkward. It makes me feel disengaged, and so yeah, extra time to work on projects. I guess that's a good thing, but I would much rather trade that extra time for projects for face-to-face interaction with students. It's quiet. It feels very deserted, but that's a good thing. That's exactly what we're supposed to be doing. So
Mhm.
I'm glad everyone's staying safe, but boy, I miss the students like crazy.
I bet. Yeah, it's even like different here. 'Cause like usually I would like wake up in the morning and we'd pack like lunch and sometimes dinner and stuff, and then we'd go to class and it would be like we're going to this class, then we change mindsets, go to this class, then change mindsets, go to this one. And you're like walking around, and so it kind of like keeps you awake and focused. And you have a
Right.
break every so often. And then
Yes.
here it's like you wake up and I'm making like 3 meals a day, so I gotta take time to do that instead of having it pre-made,
Yeah.
and like the classes just drag on and on and on because
And you never feel like you're quite caught up, which, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, it's just ongoing.
Yeah,
You'll feel like you're caught up after finals week, but
I bet,
until
yeah.
then, for the 6 weeks before that, not so much.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
feel like I'm forgetting something all the time. Is that like do you feel like that
Yes.
too? Like
Yes. I feel the
yeah,
same way because I feel like I should always be checking my email or my
yeah,
taskbar and because you feel the need to be so engaged online, you always feel like you're going to miss something. So then I think that just leads to the natural feeling like you have missed something.
yeah, yeah. Or
Yeah,
yeah, or like missing assignments or I don't know. I don't know. It's just crazy. It's
it
crazy.
is. It's a really odd time.
Yeah. Do you think that it's been in a way easier or harder going online? Because definitely some of the classes have gotten a lot easier just because it can't be as hard when you're not in person
Sure,
just because of the limitations that you have.
sure.
But like on your end, is it like more easy or hard, do you think?
So I'll kind of approach this in a couple of different ways. So from my end, I don't spend the time going to class or in class, but the grading time is the same. And the time I would be in class, I'm instead spending a lot more time in preparation. So
Gotcha.
for the class. So really the time has been about the same for me. And, for students, my goal for my classes has been to make the what we call it, like the rigor of it about the same.
Mhm.
I didn't want it to get a lot harder. I didn't want it to get a lot easier. I wanted students to learn what I wanted them to learn. Um, but in the same breath, I'll say I didn't want it to be so hard or, difficult to learn remotely that learning just didn't take place. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
always been, and I don't know, I have no idea if I was successful in that or not. I guess I'll find out at the end of the semester, but that was my goal, to try to keep things as just even and calm might be a good word. Even and calm as possible, because I think I was aware, almost acutely so, that if I acted frazzled or nervous about this, that students would perceive that,
Oh
and it
yeah.
would kind of serve as kind of like an emotional contagion.
Yeah.
And then students would be nervous or concerned or unsure. So my goal was just to remain calm and keep things as similar as I could given the situation.
Gotcha. Have you had any problems with like students who don't have good Wi-Fi or stuff like that?
Yeah, I've had a few. It's definitely been a minority situation. Fewer students have
Mhm.
had problems than those who have not had problems, which is a good thing. So very few students have had problems, but some legitimate problems of students who just live in very rural areas, who just don't have good connectivity, and so because of that, I have definitely found myself giving more grace when it comes to late things, knowing that a student may have to drive into the nearest town once a week, catch some good Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
and then submit something. And,
Yeah.
and, and that has happened. So I've had a few of those problems for sure. I've had fewer of those problems than I expected. And in that case, you just have to, of course, believe the student at his or her word and allow them to get it done when they can. So it's
Yeah.
all worked out. I have not had a student just completely fall off the radar. And I think that's a great thing. I've been in
That's
communication with
good.
every single student, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I don't know, it's been kind of crazy for me. Like, we have Wi-Fi, but it's like so slow. It took me like 4 hours to upload a video one time, and one time it was like 8 hours, and then my computer just turned off, and like some stuff. And I think it depends on the classes that you're in too, like
It
how,
does.
yeah, how that works.
It
So,
does. And I can empathize with that. I live in the boondocks. I live in the middle of the woods myself. So frankly, my connectivity isn't great sometimes either. I have great connectivity at work, but at home, not so much. So I would even, come into my office to make videos because I knew it would be so much faster and clearer and easier to do. But not everybody has that option. So
mhm.
we just completely have to have empathy and understanding and grace in those situations, and that's kind of been my approach, knowing that there would be some problems.
If it comes to the fall and we have to like do the online learning again, is there anything that you think you would do different or that like the school should do different in your opinion?
That's a great question. So I've certainly learned some things through this, I guess we'll call it experiment in remote learning. uh, I think I would continue to develop interactive um, projects. Some things I tried I liked, and some I didn't like so much. I believe it needs to be more than just posting your lecture and being done with it. There were times I did interactive things like having students comment on a video or read something and then comment on it, and I really liked that, and then discuss it and have kind of a forum. I did that with some classes, and I liked that. So I think I would think about interactive, collaborative type activities and how I could develop those more if
Gotcha.
I
Yeah.
did this again here. And I think we're all just in a holding pattern, waiting to see what summer looks like, waiting to see if we have more outbreaks, or if
Hmm.
we do get a decent immunity to this virus and can begin to steadily open things back up. I believe every professor probably across the country, I wouldn't say every, many professors across the country would say they would prefer to get back in the classroom, just because it is that great interactive interpersonal experience, and we want that. So if I do need to do remote learning again, I'm prepared to do so. I will say I think remote classes work better in shorter formats. for shorter time periods. So,
Yeah.
so, I don't think necessarily they work the best with 16-week formats. So,
Yeah.
um, just for various reasons. But so, I think I would just think of ways to engage in new ways, make sure students are staying engaged. And I've kind of trial and error done some of that this semester, and I would think I'd continue to develop that.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, I bet it's way different, and there's probably a lot of learning curves.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's funny. Some of my colleagues have said, "Wow, our campus software learning system. They've learned aspects of that system they never knew were there," which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
That because honestly, they're just not usually forced to use those things. So
Yeah.
I've been a pretty big I already used quite a bit of that software, and not all of it. So there have been a couple of things I've utilized that I hadn't in the past, but it's important to use the software you have to its fullest extent if possible. So I would continue to use that too.
Gotcha. Yeah. I know like Microsoft Teams, I've never used that before, and it used to be like
Yeah.
an annoying thing that always popped up on the computer, and now it is really useful for a couple of projects actually. So
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's Zoom and Teams, and it's just different software trying to do the same thing. But
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's been good. I mean, collaborative. The best we could do. It's sure a lot better than not having anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Cool. Well, I think that's all the questions I had. So thank you for coming on this show. Do you want to help me close the show?
I would love to help you close the show, Rachel.
Awesome. Awesome. So see you next time.
See you next time.
Thanks for watching this episode. If you'd like to see more, check out my website at withrachelshow.com or subscribe to this YouTube channel, and I'll see you next time.